There are many different ways to buy Bitcoin, but the cheapest and fastest way to buy Bitcoin with cash is with a coin flip Bitcoin ATM. Coin flip ATMs allow anyone to buy Bitcoin with the lowest fees and within just a few steps. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm one of the hundreds of store owners who partner with CoinFlip. In this convenient store, we host a CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM. We earn passive income, more foot traffic, and we get free advertising done by the CoinFlip team. Getting the ATM was easy. We just contact the CoinFlip team at info@coinflip.tech, and they handle everything with no cost to the store owner. This includes installation, maintenance, marketing, and even 24/7 customer service. We just provide a small space within the store. To get your own CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM and join the monetary revolution, contact CoinFlip today. info@coinflip.tech or fill out the form at request.coinflip.tech. 773-800-0106.
All right, bros, we're live. Hey, how goes it? I'm with my bro Jay, or at follow JAY, follow Jay. Jason here from GameCredits.org. How goes it?
It goes, Ken. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I've been looking forward to actually talk to you because there's a lot of cool stuff happening in this space right now.
Absolutely, man. And I've been a fan of Game Credits from day one, actually. Mobile Go Game Credits ICO was my first ICO ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of longevity with Game Credits.
Yeah, it's got legacy, man.
It does. It goes all the way back to actually February of 2014 when the Genesis block was kicked off. So like if you're doing the old school counting, CoinMarketCap maybe had like 6 or 7 currencies at that time. So it's about as old school as you can get in terms of an old like a cryptocurrency blockchain. And it's the first gaming cryptocurrency that ever went on a blockchain. So that's a cool historical fact that we've got under our hood.
Yeah, it is. Before we get under that hood, let's talk a little bit about yourself. Maybe introduce yourself, let the audience know a little bit about you, maybe how you got into crypto and how that led you to where you're at today with Game Credits.
Absolutely. So my name is Jason Cassidy, and I am the owner and CEO of Game Credits. However, I wasn't always known for that. I did have an interesting past that led me into cryptocurrency. And I know every one of us that goes on this rabbit hole has an interesting story. Mine takes me all the way back when I was working at BlackBerry. And when I actually started working at BlackBerry, it was called Research in Motion. So we were still kind of becoming that tool that everyone had to have. I think back then Obama was the one that was walking around everywhere with his BlackBerry. And it really became that like corporate enterprise. So if you were doing business, you had to have a BlackBerry. And that is how I got exposed to encryption and technology at a high level. So I was at BlackBerry for 7 years from 05 to 2012. And then I left in 2012. And within a couple months, someone showed me the white paper by Satoshi Nakamoto for Bitcoin. And something just clicked. And I legit did not leave my house for probably a couple of weeks. Like I went out to like check the mail and then see if there's still sunlight. Otherwise, I went down this rabbit hole because I started looking into what blockchain was. I kind of saw Bitcoin as what was running on top of it. And so my mind kept spinning. And then I actually bought into Bitcoin very early 2013. And then the Mt. Gox situation happened with the price going all the way up from like $10 US to I think it was 1,000 almost before Mt. Gox blew up like Mount Vesuvius. So I learned a lot about cryptocurrency getting into the space late 2012. I was involved with ASIC Miner, which was the first Bitcoin mining company that had a large amount of hash rate. They actually had about half of the Bitcoin network in terms of coins mined every day. So I learned a lot about the cutthroat nature of the mining industry and a lot about the Bitcoin protocol. When you're doing mining, obviously you have to understand the protocol at a deep level. So made some Bitcoin, lost some Bitcoin, typical story of someone getting in early, not fully aware of what was happening yet, but definitely wanting to be a part of it. And in 2013, I did launch Crypto Consultant with James Gonzalez, my business partner and good friend. And Crypto Consultant was and still is the first Bitcoin consultancy in Canada. And the focus that we've had for 7 years is helping people get into blockchain and understand what you can do with it. So I was running around literally in 2013 trying to give people Cassidy coins or trying to get them to install a full node, and I'd give them like a half a Bitcoin if they do it, and then I'd teach them some basics. I wanted to basically help the industry get legitimized, because I realized back then it was such a small space, Ken, that everyone kind of felt, let's just work together. Like, we all have our companies or our dreams, but those won't actually become a reality unless we actually get the world to give us some respect and recognize this is a real thing.
Yeah, the space was a lot more simpatico, or whatever the word is back then.
Yep. It was this grassroots movement of like, let's just work together and see what can happen. And if it works out, we're all going to make money. More importantly, we're going to do something that we love. And I'm happy to say that 7 years later, it looks like myself and both you are doing what we love. And I can't think of how blessed we could be to be doing that.
Thanks to people like you guys watching this podcast. Shout out to all of you, bros. Thank you very much for tuning in. Oh, before I forget, if you're watching this, every day somebody wins $10 worth of crypto. So comment, within 24 hours, somebody's going to find out if they won or not. Maybe it's you. All you have to do is like and comment. So how did you fall into game credits from your, it's funny that you said like BlackBerry into encryption into like blockchain into Bitcoin. I kind of have like a semi-similar story where it was more like I kind of opted out of the bank, so I was about to opt into gold, and then I opted into Bitcoin instead. But I was in that currency pivot anyway, and it just so happened to be at a time where somebody was like, hey, check out this Bitcoin thing, because I was going to use gold as my daily currency, and somebody was like, well, use this digital gold as daily currency, and I was like, well, okay. And then as soon as I looked more into it, bro, same thing. I had like that blockchain diet, where you just you fast for like 3-4 days, and then you realize, oh, I haven't eaten since the word Bitcoin became a part of my vocabulary. So how did you tumble into game credits? Like you mentioned, they've been around for a long time. I remember, when Mobile Go and Game Credits kind of partnered up with this, push to innovate mobile gaming and cryptocurrencies and put game credits in that mix. How did you get into like gaming and crypto?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it looks like as we're talking, you and I have a lot of similarities, because when I started to buy Bitcoin in early 2013, I was actually holding a lot of gold and silver for the same reasons I think you were, Ken. And it was actually a lot of my gold and silver that I actually sold at a loss from a fiat perspective to buy into Bitcoin, because I felt it was potentially a superior investment vehicle. But it looks like the mindset that led us to taking fiat and putting it into gold and silver is the same path that we walked that eventually got us to go from gold and silver into Bitcoin. So that's very interesting, because there's a lot of, I think, around that time period that we're thinking like, okay, fiat system is rotten. There's a lot of issues with it. Where do I pivot to? Because I'm just getting my bearings about this stuff yet.
And we're lucky. I mean, honestly, I feel very lucky that there was even a place to pivot. Like 10 years earlier, where would you pivot? Why? How? Okay, still going to gold isn't much of a pivot. Now that I look back at my decision, I was like, that's not much of a pivot at all. It's actually falling farther into the trap of the scam.
Yep, exactly. The fact that there was something there for us waiting, if long as we were in the right place at the right time, and you have to have the risk tolerance to do it. And you and I obviously did. And, it was a risk at the time. Obviously, we felt it was a good risk and it's paid off. But if you're listening and you weren't around at that time, it was a risk. That's what it was. It was a big risk. Gold had been around for a long time. Government currencies last usually a long time before they die out. This was something that had been around for a couple of years. And there was so little information on the internet, you really had to kind of build your own confidence base, because other than the Bitcoin Talk forum, what else was there to actually go ahead and immerse yourself in that?
Man, I kind of liked it back then too, because you didn't have so much like content. You didn't have as many like influencers. You didn't have many deities in the space, digesting information, regurgitating it in the form of their opinion, and people taking that opinion as if it was the information directly. Back then, you had no other choice but to do your own research. Now, most people say they do their own research, but they appointed some public figure to do that research for them, and people stopped doing their own research after a couple years, because now we do have a lot of content about the space. I mean, shit, JP Morgan's talking about it. We got Bloomberg talking about it. So everybody's giving their opinion about the information that they have digested, and nobody's getting raw information anymore. It's just biased opinion on top of biased opinion, and you have to dig your way through like an onion to get to the center that is the actual information.
That's very well said. It's just like I'm 40 years old. So for example, when I was growing up, if I had an assignment, I was walking my butt down to the library, looking at the ISBN number, and literally old school researching everything that I had to do. And when the internet came around, yeah, did it help? For sure it did. But there was the same analogy works with cryptocurrency. Yes, the internet was there for us to use, but there was almost no content. You had to basically find your way around that space and do the heavy lifting yourself. You didn't have literally 1,000 hours of content that you could sit there and immerse yourself with, and then start to get those opinions fed in. They become your own opinion because you're actually not doing that exploratory process yourself. So it's a very good point. And that's a good segue into the question you had is, okay, so how the heck do you go from BlackBerry to gold and silver to Bitcoin, and all of a sudden you're now part of the first gaming cryptocurrency in history? How does that happen? It's a good question. So we're going to fast forward my timeline. I jumped into cryptocurrency in late 2012, early 2013. We formed Crypto Consultant. We start helping the country, Canadians start learning Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. But now we're going to fast forward up to the big bull run of 2017 when cryptocurrency went crazy and Bitcoin goes to 20,000 US, okay? So you and I were around for that. It was a great time. We're seeing the beginnings of maybe that similar type of phase now, but right, this podcast, it's still early on, but it looks like it could be happening. But back then, it did go crazy. So when that price run went up to 20,000 US, I was at the point in my career where I was looking for something to do outside of the consultancy. And I had a lot of options, so I didn't want to just jump into the first thing that looked like it was interesting. So when I was younger, I played this card game called Magic the Gathering. And I played this card game to the point where I was able to buy my first house with the proceeds. And I was thinking about going for, yeah, like I was, and again, Ken, I'm blessed. I was like 17, 18 years old. I'm spending money on a card game. I'm teaching myself it. I'm going to tournaments. I'm winning most of these tournaments. And then all of a sudden I realized that Wizards of the Coast, which is a subsidiary of Hasbro, the board game company, they've got this pro tour, which was like esports before there was esports back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And all of a sudden someone tells me, if you just keep winning, you've got a DCI rating. It's like with professional tennis. If your ladder rating keeps going up, you're going to get invited to these tournaments and you can win hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm like 18 years old. So I'm thinking, okay. So long story short, I played Magic for a while. I got out when I was around like 21, 22, because I wanted to focus on my career, and I didn't look back. So now fast forward to 2017, and I'm looking into trading card games on the blockchain, because I'm thinking, I wonder if there's like Wizards of the Coast is going to put Magic on a blockchain and have a cryptocurrency. So I Google stuff, and there's nothing except one thing I can find called Nova Token platform. And I look into it, and it's going to be like an ICO on Ethereum. So I reach out to the founder, Paul Barkley, and I say, hey, you and I have a lot of background. You work at Wizards of the Coast. You've worked on Magic the Gathering. I played Magic the Gathering at a high level. So some of the stuff that you were producing at your job, I was actually a customer playing at a high level at it. We've got a lot of similar kind of experiences, and we're both in blockchain. So you're doing a trading card blockchain. I find that interesting. I'd love to help out as an advisor for free, just to be a part of it. I don't want any money, no commitment. And Paul said, yeah, why not? It sounds like there's a good fit. So let's just keep an open door policy. So then all of 2017, or rather that was around the end of 2017 when cryptocurrency was going nuts. And so now 2018 goes, and then cryptocurrency starts to take a big dive.
Winter's coming.
Yeah, and so winter was like set in, and it's now like the end of 2018. And I reach out to Paul and I think, hey, I haven't heard anything. And when I Googled you, the only article I saw was that you're shutting down. There was some like crypto rag outlet that I'd never heard of that had a story that said that Dragon Foundry, which was a company behind Nova Token, was shutting down. And I'm thinking, that's weird. So I reach out to Paul and I say, is this true that you're shutting down? And he said, yeah, we raised a whole bunch of Ether, but that was at like 1200 US, and we wrote it all the way down, and we focused a lot on development because Paul's a developer and he's a very good developer. So when I looked at the platform, essentially they had spent all their money and time on developing an actual base, a platform for the game that they had created, which was called Nova Blitz, which is an online trading card game, real time. And they were building a platform on Ethereum for gaming. which would eventually evolve into NFTs. We'll talk about that in a second. But back in late 2017, it was just this platform that they were going to build tools into this game that was going to be on the blockchain called Nova Blitz, which to me looked a lot in some ways like Magic the Gathering, which is not surprising because Paul took some of the mechanics from Magic and put them into Nova Blitz. And I saw that right away when I was playing the game. I'm like, this is someone that built this had to come from Wizards of the Coast because there's Magic written all over this. So long story short, Paul said, we're shutting things down. And I said, wait, just 1 second. The interesting thing about what you're doing here, Paul, unlike most ICOs that just blow up in smoke, is that you actually built something. You're not vaporware. Most ICOs have a celebrity or have a whole lot of videos and pump behind the scenes. There's nothing.
Right. You
are the exact opposite. You've got a whole bunch of technology built, but you spent no time on marketing. You spent very little time building up a team. Crypto economics, exchange, like all the stuff that you and I know it takes to run a blockchain successfully. Those were missing, but the key part, which was the actual product, they built at least half of that. So I said, hold on, there's still a chance we could salvage this. So essentially, I put together a succession plan to take the protocol forward. Paul agreed to come on as my CTO, and I started to bring in people from the gaming industry, Ken, that I knew. I brought some people in from the blockchain world. I started putting in some of my own money to continue the project forward. And then that takes us up right till the end of 2019. And then this is right before the coronavirus hits, right before the coronavirus hits. And this is important, the timeline. So now it was a year since I had taken over the project, and we had got most of the platform built. I had built out the team. We'd start to get a couple exchange listings. However, we're still feeling the pain of Nova Token not having a whole lot of time and marketing money. Just there's a lot of stuff still missing, even though we've turned it around and we've built the team up with really good professionals. The platform's just about built. We're still missing some pieces. The token was only on a couple exchanges with low volume. A lot of stuff still had to happen, and I'm putting in a lot of my own money here. So a friend of mine says, hey, I got something I want to tell you. There's a opportunity to take over a blockchain gaming network, and it's called Game Credits. Have you heard of it? And I said, I think everyone who's been around for a while has heard of Game Credits. What's the deal? And he goes, well, you didn't hear it from me, but because you've got a reputation for giving CPR to blockchain projects and resuscitating them, I'm going to just tell you that a little birdie told me that they may be available to take over. So I'm going to just drop an email address, which is the team. Go talk to them and see what happens. So I won't bore us on this podcast with all the back and forth negotiations, but essentially there was a handful of us. There's a couple of big companies actually that were involved in buying out the Game Credits network and taking it over, the IP, the branding, everything. I was very blessed, and I admit that I was very blessed to be the one that my bid was the one that was essentially the one that won out, because I had a succession plan. All the team members at Game Credits, my succession plan would actually have them still maintain a job and get paid. And I think that was the reason why I ultimately said we're going to go with this guy and not the rest of them. So I was able to take over the Game Credits network. And then what we did, Ken, and my team gets a lot of credit for this. I don't deserve much of the credit. They're the ones that actually made this happen. But we did one of the first true organic crypto merger and acquisitions, because we took all the good parts of Nova Token, which was the platform with all our services and the Nova Blitz game. We ripped out the currency, we ripped out all the other pieces, and we put the Game Credits branding around that. So we basically just rebranded the Nova Token platform as Game Credits. We kept the Game Credits cryptocurrency. We moved it over to Ethereum. So it left its old proof of work blockchain. It's now on Ethereum as an ERC20 token. The ticker is called GAME. In my opinion, and I'm biased, it's going to be one of the best tickers in cryptocurrency, and it's got to be the best ticker for the gaming industry. And so GAME is now an ERC20 token. And once we moved over to Ethereum, Ken, we started getting our platform launched ready. So we actually now have a rewards portal, which is an NFT delivery system where you can take your game tokens, stake it on one of our partners, and earn NFT rewards in return for that.
So you can be farming for NFTs with Game Credits.
Yes, that's the whole point. So this was actually something we created at Nova Token. Yes, that's the whole point. We're taking a fungible concept like staking, and we're applying it to a non-fungible token ecosystem. So all of our game partners, you don't have to be a game. You can be an NFT artist. You can be a crypto company. Right. Be anyone. As long as you want to be getting involved with giving NFT rewards to your fan base, We do all the heavy lifting.
That's a
We've already
really
built the system.
interesting guerrilla marketing opportunity for you and NFT projects to both be able to work together to give back to the community, but also cross-pollinate with brand awareness and, sort of have that overlapping gray area be the middle area that you focus on so it can grow and grow and grow and have that, two communities eventually become one. I think that's great. And for people watching, if you don't understand what we're talking about, imagine Fortnite letting you take those V-Bucks and put them into a Fortnite savings account, and while it's sitting there, you get Fortnite skins every once in a while, and if you decide you had enough of these Fortnite skin deliveries, you could stop saving your V-Bucks, take it out of the savings account, and then spend your V-Bucks. So it's a really interesting mechanic when you start to talk about like esports and how gaming is starting to become more of a 9-to-5 environment. This is what a lot of professional gamers, that are, 9-to-5 gamers that pay mortgages with video games. This is one of the key elements that are really going to get them to FOMO into blockchain gaming. Like, why would anybody want to play a centralized game when they could be playing a tokenized game, having the same experience, but then on top of that, asset ownership?
Exactly. So you just described it very well for the audience. And this is something that if you go to gamecredits.org, you can go to the rewards portal. You'll see what Ken and I are talking about. If you own game, there's a lot of different things you can do with it from a use case perspective. You actually earn both game tokens every week because the company has 100,000 game tokens we've set out for many years in the future. It's a marketing cost that we're happy to go ahead and fund. And every week there's 100,000 game credits given out on the platform, and it's split right down the middle, 50-50. So there's 50,000 game credits available for all the stakers that have game, and there's 50,000 game credits actually for all of our partners that sign up. And so if you're a partner, how do you get part of that 50,000 game credit pool every week? The more people that stake and support on you, the more game credits that you earn. If you're a staker, the more you stake your game credits, the more game credits of that 50,000 pot that you'll earn. So you get a lot of benefits. We're giving everyone benefits to be part of the rewards portal. And if you hold game as a fan, not only are you getting more game in return, which is money, you can also get NFT rewards like Ken said. So if you're staking on the Sandbox, which is a partner of ours in the future, you're going to be able to earn NFT rewards. And that could be something that's in game, could be a collectible out of the game, could be a tournament entry ticket, could be an NFT coupon. It could be just about anything that's non-fungible fodder, essentially, that you could turn into a crypto collectible. So very soon, you're going to see a lot more game credits over on the portal. I think we've got almost 40 million right now, Ken, staked on the portal, but I expect that to go up because there's so much stuff that you can do. And that ties into our NFT Foundry. We have actual NFT minting tool that you can use on the portal. And we also have our NFT exchange coming out in the next week or two.
So you can mint your assets on the same platform.
Yes, and we want to do that for the creators. So an example, Crypto Motors signed up with us recently. They now can just use our minting tool and we can work with them to create what any kind of NFT reward they want to have in the portal. So if you're listening right now and you're actually someone who's thinking, well, I'm not a fan, I'm actual company, I could be on your portal as a creator, but what are the incentives for me though? Free marketing and advertising, because we have tons of people coming to the portal every day to be involved in that ecosystem. You can earn a residual income. Right now it's probably trivial, but in the future it will become non-trivial as games value goes up in USD. You'll get paid to be on the portal. And number three, and I think that's the biggest thing, is that you get to start interacting with your audience and giving them value through NFT rewards. And you can build up that customer base and then take that even out of the portal. And that's really what's powerful, Ken. If you think about games, we sit down with our partners and we tell them, look, we're not here to tell you what we think you want. You tell us what you want to achieve. Do you want to have players spend more time in your game? Do you want players to spend more money when they're in the game? Whatever those mechanics are, as long as the players log into the game with their wallet, that same wallet can go over to the rewards portal and we can tie those mechanics into the portal. So if you want to get to the top tier of staking on Crypto Motors, you will eventually have to achieve certain different achievements within Crypto Motors. And then once that happens, we'll have an API feed that reads it. And essentially now we can gamify the whole experience so that players are going to be incentivized to spend more time in these games than to come back to unlock rewards in the portal. So it's this whole ecosystem we're building that's supposed to be circular if it done properly.
My new favorite word of the month has been cyclical. It sounds very cyclical. And I like that a lot. And dude, this is gamified marketing. You've turned marketing into its own game. And I don't know if you're aware of this, guys, if you're listening, but dude, GameStop has a huge issue with like companies where they have issues with reselling games and stuff. Like, how do the game makers get in on this secondary market action and this, that, yeah. You're giving game makers a way to have another means of income by gamifying their marketing opportunities, by allowing me to say, oh, I like this game. I'll stake some game credits, tokens over here with this game, and I'll be able to get some in-game assets from them. It's genius marketing for video gaming in general, let alone talk about the ways that this could be done outside of gaming. Like, conference organizers, Consensus could say, stake some game for the year from, this conference to this conference. And at the end of the year, you get your game back and you also get an NFT to come inside the conference venue. Oh. Somehow somebody said they lost sound. Give me 1 second, guys. I don't know why that happened. Bear with me. My computer is dying. So they got my audio. That's good. They only lost yours for a second there.
Okay.
All right, your audio's back. Yeah, sorry. If you guys are watching, I have a new computer coming in the mail today. This Mac, I might just kill it like an Office Space fax machine. So, yeah, I really have that urge in me to not kill this with fire. It's high, so please bear with me, audience. But yeah, the audio is back now. But yeah, dude, that's exactly what I was thinking. And I spoke at a loyalty and rewards conference where like McDonald's, American Airlines, some company that runs all the pharmaceutical rewards programs. I was talking to them and how they will, and I got this NFT award in New York City for making a business card NFT, but it's not just the business card, it's the concept of the business card. Where like if I give you my NFT business card, say I'm a pizza shop, right? Not an influencer. I give you my business card or my menu as an NFT. I now have your address. Everything that you do is public knowledge. I could set up an API that just lets me know how frequently you shop, set up a bot that could automatically give you a free pizza after 10 visits. You get that NFT free pizza coupon right to your wallet. All this is going to be gamified through tokenomics, and I think game credits it sounds silly to say mostly because of the ticker, but seriously, the ticker symbol is high IQ game. It having the label game has so much of an advantage. Multiply that by its legacy. It has such an inevitable, on-ramp into gaming. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on how to break through to that legacy gaming environment with Fortnite esports, Apex, Call of Duty, where Vegas fills arenas with people that play these games. Where's that bridge to get them into using game credits?
It's a really good question, actually, and it's a really good segue because game credits has such a legacy. Its identity over the years has evolved with the times. So in 2020, what game credits represents is merging the traditional gaming world with the blockchain gaming world, which is what you're talking about, Ken. How do you actually break through into that market? Because it's not easy, and a lot of people have tried and failed. So one of the parts of the DNA that we inherited from game credits when we came in last year was esports. And you're going to be noticing on the rewards portal very soon, we have several esports professionals that are going to be signing up. And we've actually scoured the planet to find some of the most crypto savvy esports professionals that want to be part of that bridge that we're going to be creating.
Right. So you didn't find a square peg in a round hole. You found the right peg for the right hole.
Yeah. And it's taken some time. Definitely. We spent more time doing that, but we felt it was worth taking that time to find the right people that exist on the planet today. And so you're going to be seeing some of these esports professionals showing up in the rewards portal, and they're going to be introducing a lot of their player base that has heard about crypto, but they don't really get it for sure. And we're going to be introducing them to NFT rewards. There's the streaming aspect. So you're going to be able to be following with some of these esports streamers and actually getting rewards through streaming. We've got the tip bot in there. So
cool.
There's going to be a lot of engagement with the esports world. We're talking to some esports teams. We're talking with some esports leagues. So it's something like you said, when you look at the traditional gaming world and they see game credits and the game ticker and they see the longevity that we've been doing this for a long time, they look at the team. We've all got good credentials. We've done stuff in the past. It's all clean backgrounds.
Yeah, you're not synonymous or anonymous. We know who you are. I see your face.
Exactly. It sets I guess like the foundation for having a conversation about talking to someone from the old school game world, and they're comfortable at least engaging, talking about cryptocurrency with us, because they can see there's a lot of pillars in place. These guys that come out from the woodwork, they've got a great brand, they've got a great offering, a product, and they're talking to us in a way that makes sense to us. They're not trying to get us in today. They know it's a long-term transition, but they're actually showing us the path to do that. And it makes sense. And I think that's why we're starting to see some success, because we spent a couple of years thinking about how are we going to do this in a way that's actually going to work and not just be a big PR buzz and that dies off again.
Yeah, no, I dig that. You definitely have to worry about that. I mean, that's almost like anything, I guess, when you're trying to officially launch into like a legacy ecosystem, is kind of have that make or break moment, and you can't really afford to fuck it up. So slow and steady is probably the best pace, and Game Credits has done that very well, especially when you consider a lot of the projects that raised a lot more money and don't exist at all, like it's just completely gone. Projects that have, promised a lot and delivered none. I'd rather have, something like Game Credits that's been around, does what it can do and sticks around. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be interesting to see like esports players have their own pools. Like I would definitely stake some game on Ninja if I could farm some Ninja collectible NFTs. And maybe they're not in-game assets, they're just collectibles. But sign me up. I mean, if you watch fucking Antique Roadshow, or if you watch Pawn Stars, you've seen flyers from like an old gas station go for 6 figures. So even promotional memorabilia has a very high value, even if it's just nostalgic. And I think it will still happen even in a tokenized environment. A lot of the, promotional collectibles that are out there, especially the ones that are individually created for like, personal influence or content creator X, Y, and Z, I do personally believe that they'll have a lot of value in the future, considering if that person were to blow up. Like imagine if Justin Bieber came out today and had his own, game credit pool where I could just stake some game, earn some Justin Bieber, NFTs that don't mean anything today because he just came out. But 20 years later, look where the dude's at. That collectible that I got for staking some credits on him would be worth something to somebody's one day. So I could trade that.
Exactly. That's a really good description. Now, for anyone that's maybe like in their 50s or 60s that maybe missed a lot of this boom, when I'm trying to describe this to them, I use the analogy. Imagine you went and saw Elvis in 71 in Plymouth, Michigan, and you still have that ticket somewhere. And now imagine that's digitized and it's immortalized on a blockchain. And then it's like, boom, like, oh my, wow. Well, then I'd have that, I'd sell it maybe. Of course you would, but you can't, but now you can. So you see now, and then the hamster starts going on the wheel.
If you lost your ticket to like a Elvis concert, you can't just go to Visa and ask them to print you out the receipt so you can sell the receipt. Here's the proof I bought the ticket, but I don't have the ticket anymore.
Yeah. So it's interesting. And there's another, I know that you and I are aware of this. If you're listening and NFTs sound cool, and they certainly are, gaming is probably the biggest use case.
Yeah.
And Ken, I know you are friends with Steve Wand, and he is a good friend of mine. And
I was going to mention Digitables and that. Yeah, man, I love Steve. And I wanted to shout him out because I still, like, on a regular basis, show people my the first physical NFT was Free Ross physical NFT, a non-fungible that I could hold in my hands. That was Steve. That was Digital. So yeah, definitely love those guys.
Yeah. Steve probably is one of the most, well, you'll see Steve's Bitcoin flag around the globe if you trot enough, but Steve,
I got one right there from Steve. That's from Steve, man.
There's the love right there. So yes, I'm very happy to say that Steve's a friend of mine, and Steve's done a lot for the industry, just like you have, to help awareness And Steve has really found his place in the gaming and the art space. And art is something that it is different from gaming, but art is involved in gaming from the visual aspect. And we're seeing now artists showing up. So on the rewards portal, like we mentioned, you don't have to be a game creator essentially to take part of this. We actually have some of the best NFT artists that are starting up. We already have Natural Warp, which is a 360 artist. He does some really, really trippy, cool stuff that's psychedelic type of art. And he's kind of our proof of concept to have an artist come onto the rewards portal. You can earn NFT art now. And a couple of months from now, guys, when you go to the rewards portal, you're going to see a roster of NFT artists, and you're going to actually be able to earn NFT art by staking games. So a year from now, I have no idea what the reward portal is going to look like because it's evolving on a month-by-month basis.
I like to hear that, bro. That actually hypes me up so much more than to hear that you have it set in stone. Here's the white paper. Here's the roadmap. I love that it's a living, evolving concept that's forever changing because it will have to be. It will have to constantly adapt. You don't know. I guess you're basically creating a fork and letting people comb their hair with it if they choose to. You don't know that that's what they're going to do with it until people pick it up and start using it for something more creative than the creator intended. And I think that's smart, and I like that you're using artists that necessarily may not be creating assets that have utility yet, but imagine if I could get like a sketch drawing of a Lambo from a designer who actually creates Lamborghini designs. I could get a sketch from an artist before they even had the job at Lamborghini. Imagine what that carbon copy of their first sketch would look like once they have an established career as an artist in an industry. That's what I look at it when I see NFT artists. I look at future employees to something bigger. People that are going to be contributing to the space much more than they already are just by, this is their business cards. This is their resume. And this is something I'm going to be able to invest in somebody personally. And I think that artists are the first humans to be able to be invested in individually with tokenomics in mind, because otherwise you're investing in protocols, you're investing in companies or concepts.
That's true.
But if I buy some of NFT art from you, I'm investing in you, and I hope that you do better in the future. I want you to do well. If something were to go wrong and I'm a large investor, you go homeless and shit, you're probably not going to be a starving artist because you have a huge audience that wants you to make it, because when you do, it's beneficial for them. They have an investment in you personally, and I think that is going to be a huge game changer for artists getting involved with the economy of the future using tokenomics.
Very well said. I think you understand exactly where the industry is moving, and your point about not being fixated on a certain roadmap. And of course, we have a roadmap, but within that context, we're very flexible, and you have to be. If you get too rigid, you're done in this industry right now.
It happens overnight.
Exactly. It's evolved too fast, and you have to be able to accept that. And some people, they come from the traditional business world. They can't hack how fast things move in crypto. And I've seen that before. So it's its own creature. And some people just kind of slot into that really well. And I think we've embraced the fact that we have to plan, but within that planning, we also have to be very flexible and adapt to how things change, because DeFi has come. DeFi may go, and there could be something in a week from now, and then everyone forgot about DeFi. It may not happen that quick, but it can happen that quick in crypto.
Yep, that's a good point, man. Absolutely. I wanted to dig more into the farming concept a little bit here. Do you see a way, and I hate to be the person who always brings these things up because it's such like a bummer, but is there a way to like game that system? Like, is there a way that you could see bad actors taking advantage of something so good? Because when people come up with something that is so nuanced, like a concept like this, the first thing I worry about is a lot of assholes that are going to be showing up are usually, or the first people that show up are usually assholes, like bad actors taking advantage of something. Is this something that you guys have considered, how people may take advantage of this staking farming concept? I'm just curious, like even recently there was a rug pull on Rarible. I think it was like Blue Kirby or somebody. So there's been like non-fungible rug pulls and like NFT art rug pulls. And I'm just like wondering how you guys are planning to maybe, say I'm a nefarious NFTer and you don't know it, and I got in the pool or something. How I want to take advantage of it. How can I, and how can you remedy this?
Yeah, that's a good question to ask, because it's the question that some people don't want to ask, but there's a really there's a dark underbelly of crypto, let's say. And so wash trading can be a really big problem, right? On those, right? So we definitely watch this stuff and we talk about it at HQ and say, are we going to be a victim of this, or are we going to learn from this and adapt? So while there's always a chance for something to be exploited from the gamification aspect and the mechanics, we have the rewards portal self-regulating. So the rewards adjust as people come in and apply stakes or remove stakes. And the portal's got a finite set of tokens. And again, so other than the fact that from a staking perspective, the more tokens you have to start off with, the more advantage you have over someone who's got a smaller stake of tokens. That's tough to get away from a proof of stake concept. The rich get richer to an extent. Outside of that, which is something that I think there's a lot of critiques to be had around proof of stake, the gamification aspect of the portal itself, it doesn't lend itself to be gamed very well because it self-regulates. As soon as you take an action, the system regulates to counterbalance that. So in terms of, could someone try and game the system and take all the really good NFT rewards? They're going to have to apply both time and amount of game over time to earn the loyalty points to redeem them. So there's no real easy way to go ahead and game the system. Now, when we have our NFT exchange, and when you guys are hearing NFT exchange, if you're thinking like, what is he talking about? Think of like OpenSea. It's a marketplace where you can buy, sell, trade NFTs. Once that NFT exchange is put into our ecosystem, which is going to be in a couple of weeks, that is when we definitely have to be thinking more unilaterally about, can that aspect be gained? Because now you're plugging in an exchange and now you've got a secondary economy outlet. So if there's anything that's weak in the system, it will probably end up finding its way through the exchange aspect. But I believe that we've got a pretty good, I wouldn't say it's Fort Knox, but it's pretty well built in terms of mechanics. There's no easy way to game the rewards portal as a system.
Okay, so it's not so much of an exploit. It's not a bug; it's a feature, and that's actually a good way to go about it. Is trying too hard to combat something that you have no control over makes little sense. I mean, you know, don't worry about things that you can't control and worry about the things you can. And it sounds like the blockchain has this in foresight, you know, to kind of remedy any bad action, to make it not so much of a bug, but a feature. So yeah, I think that's a good way to kind of remedy the issue. That's an interesting way to go about it. Where do you see the when you said NFT exchange? I recently just seen, I think this was like last night or this morning, I saw someone was talking about how the U.S. government may try to ban, non-custodial wallets, like self-sovereign wallets or something like that. Do you think we could get to a place where, unfortunately, if we want to get involved with NFTs and do blockchain gaming, that these platforms may have mandatory KYC on-ramps?
Yes, I think that it's inevitable. I don't know how long it's going to take for regulators to wrap their head around the non-fungible token aspect of crypto. They've just spent the better part of probably 7 to 8 years really engaging and understanding what fungible cryptocurrency is about. However, stuff like wallets and exchanges, which may be homogenous to either one of them, I can see there's going to be a crackdown. I don't know if I'm a big fan of it. I think there is a trade-off at some point, and usually governments they only know when they've gone too far once they've gone too far. Yeah. Usually and then they have to either pull back or they don't. And we'll have to see if that happens, but there's absolutely more regulations coming. The one thing I will say is that in the NFT space, because it's so nascent, regulations that apply specific to NFTs is going to take at least a couple of years. And we do some work with regulators, and I believe while they're now being aware of it, it's going to take some time for them to learn and actually craft laws. So I think there's going to be this golden era in NFTs, and I think we're living in this golden era right
we are. And I just wanted to make these people aware that this is like 2015 early opportunity Bitcoin shit. Like, get the NFTs while you can, because I have a feeling that it's going to be a lot harder to get non-fungibles, especially ones with utility in the future. And even utilizing them is going to be a little bit harder. You talk to a lot of NFT projects, I assume. Have you heard any rumors or anybody like in the NFT space as far as like the issuers or the projects themselves looking into getting like a money remittance license because of these NFTs and stuff? Like, because a lot of that wash trading is starting to come into like, the six figures and getting mainstream attention. And I'm just curious, like, are people that make NFTs looking into the same things of people that make cryptocurrencies?
I'm hearing just the very early scuttlebutt of those conversations. So there's a couple instances that you and I know have happened over the summer with wash trading and with NFT exchanges and complete lack of oversight, and people get upset, and now it makes the news cycle. So yes, there is due diligence happening in some companies. We're obviously looking at it at Game Credits, of course. We want to be ahead of the curve on this. No, we don't want to get slapped down in the future because there is going to be regulations that come in, obviously. Until that time comes when there is a regulatory framework, I think you're going to see some companies just try and milk whatever they can. And then you're going to see some companies probably toe the line. But the one thing that stands out in my mind, and if you're listening to this podcast, I really want you to take this to heart. Ken has been very vocal about how this is like the Wild West again of cryptocurrency. Like you go back 2013, 14, 15. When this time period is over, it's over. You cannot go back in a time machine and do this. You have to listen to what he's saying right now. And I will definitely double down on that comment. I've been in this space for a long time. Ken has too. We've been out there seeing things. You learn experiences and you see cycles repeating. This is the same thing as the fungible cryptocurrency, but it's now going to be compressed because you've already got 12 years of experience in the space building up an infrastructure. So it's going to happen in a quicker cycle than the first fungible cycle happened. So take advantage of it right now because you are blessed to be here talking about it, because there's a lot of people that are going to learn about this in 2025 and it's going to be too late.
Yeah, I wear my my portfolio on my sleeve, man. You know, I posted recently my NFTs for Wax was over $20,000 in holdings. That's how much I fucking believe in NFTs that are on Wax. You know, my Ethereum NFTs probably double the fucking value of my Wax NFTs. You know, I'm pushing 6 figures in non-fungible assets in my portfolio, and people think I'm fucking insane. But they also thought I was insane in 2015 when I went all in on Bitcoin. You know what I mean? And then I'm in the Bahamas at the all-time high celebrating on a fucking cruise ship with the captain of the ship just popping bottles. And like, yeah, how crazy do I look now? I bet in the next 5 years, the same thing's going to happen, bro. People that thought when I went into Bitcoin in 2015 are going to be like, whoa, he wasn't wrong. And then the same thing's going to happen with these NFTs because I know I'm not. This is such an opportunity. You know, it makes such, like, it's just writing on the wall to me when it comes to non-fungibles. And I feel like a lot of people don't get it. That thing doesn't click. The light doesn't go off. So they're sitting there trying to convince themselves based on my opinion again, instead of getting their own information. I don't recommend that. I've personally never once bought an NFT going, I'm going to sell this and make money. I don't even think I've sold any fucking NFTs at all, ever. I just keep buying them. I just keep buying them. So I buy these NFTs because I like them. They're cute art. I want to support the artist. I like the project where it's a utility. The utility is usually the deciding factor, or the artist, if I like them or not, is a deciding factor. And I buy NFTs, and it has increased in value over time, and I believe it still will. But if you don't get it, I wouldn't recommend getting into it. You know, wait until, you know, you care enough or you like NFTs enough, because if you start getting into non-fungibles just to, you know, pump and dump and do the things that you used to do with your shit coins, you're not going to have a good time. You know, NFTs is a lot more of a long-term hodl than a pump and dump day trade flippening.
That's true. That's not discussed enough, and I'm happy that you said that. There's two different kind of people I find that are attracted to either fungible or non-fungible tokens. And you and I both have friends that we've told since 2015, 2013, buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, and they're just not going to do it. You and I know they're not going to do it, and we're fine with that. Now, I've got a certain segment of those friends that would not touch game, Bitcoin, Ethereum. They just don't care. But non-fungible tokens hold interest to them because there's some sort of emotional attachment to something out there that could be tokenized. And so once I show them enough use cases, then the light goes off. They're like, oh, okay,
show them Garbage Pail Kids or Topps. Topps got their NBA cards on the blockchain now. I mean, dude, Atari got their own token. Atari. Are you kidding? How are people missing this? It's like going way over their heads. And I'm sitting here getting smacked in the forehead every time something new comes out. And everybody else is under the bar, just missing it completely. I'm big on Wax, but I think Ethereum 2.0, once it launches, the mechanics in it for the economy of the dApps it's exactly what companies want when they do start to tokenize their games. They're not going to, they haven't done it yet, and they're not going to do it yet until they can replace everything in the legacy model in-house monopoly style. And that's where we're getting with ETH 2.0, and a lot of these protocols and new NFTs are coming out every day, bro. Like new NFT protocols, ERC 721, 1155, X, Y, and Z, they're waiting patiently. And the people that are experimenting with it now, like Atari, Garbage Pail Kids, Tops, dude, even Will Shatner has like physical memorabilia that he tokenized. Physical shit that is a screenshot essentially of ownership. And the people are coming into this space slowly but surely through those niche on-ramps. And what Game Credits is going to do with the esports, bro, is the valve for that on-ramp is going to flood open. I don't think it's going to be a slow trickle once it happens. I see Game Credits taking off in like I don't want to say volatile because it goes the wrong way and people think price, but when I mean volatile, when I say it, I mean like adoption-wise, like, you know, awareness-wise and utilized-wise, the esports majority will engulf what Game Credits can do overnight. It'll just happen. A lot like, you know, the internet getting into gaming. It felt long, but if you were in it, bro, just one day you went from playing in LAN to playing online.
Yep, there is. It's like a dam that builds up, and some days you may sit there and say, like, am I doing something wrong? Like, you know, is it ever gonna? And then boom, there's gonna be this moment, like a Minsky moment, and then it's gonna flow through. And that's why we would rather, this is kind of the company culture we have here. We like to under promise and over deliver. And part of that is because not everyone, but a lot of people do the opposite. They over promise and under deliver. So not a big fan of that, but beyond that paradigm, we want to do things in logical steps. And we know that we're going to be the tortoise probably more than the hare, which is we want to make progress over time that's sustainable. We don't want to be a currency that goes up like a schizophrenic chart, right? We want to actually have growth. You have some of that with crypto, but overall, we want to actually put foundations that are actual on-ramps, not hype, not something that has already been done 15 times by 15 other protocols. So why would it work this time? We want to do things that are actually novel. And a lot of us have worked in the traditional gaming world or the traditional business world, and we've done a lot of experience in cryptocurrency. So if you look at our team and you just add up the years that we've been in crypto, it's well over 100. And some teams also can boast that. But one thing you can't fake is experience and time. You can fake your bankroll, you can fake volume, you can fake a lot of stuff in crypto. You cannot fake how much time you put in. And I think that is one of those factors that helps Game Credits position itself to do what you just said. Eventually turn this into a spigot and it just goes
Yep.
all that adoption.
Yeah, I see. I mean, when I first seen Game Credits in the space, man, it was like, well, this is too fucking early. Like seriously, in my head, when I was looking at the ICO, I was just like, this is like a 5 to 10 year too early concept. Like, there's zero chance that this will take off within 5 years. It needs more. Like, Game Credits was like one piece to many pieces of a pie that we needed with ingredients, and it seems like now we have the plethora of options on the table to bake something amazing here with Game Credits, NFTs, the blockchain gaming space. It's all coming together around the timeline I predicted when I saw Game Credits, and I think within another 5 years, it will be an obvious currency for video gaming, especially when it comes to esports. It makes sense. There's a lot of projects in this space that are getting involved with gaming, but there's no interoperable currency for them. You know, like fucking Fortnite's going to have their own currency. Apex is going to have their own currency, and it's not, they're going to do it. They're going to burn their energy and fuel and time doing it, and they're going to learn real quick afterwards, right before they go broke. We need something with interoperability that is universally utilized throughout these games, throughout like the metaverse of gaming, and that would be game.
Yep, and that's, again, a great segue because something that at Game Credits definitely separates us from like the Engine, the Wax, the D-Markets, the Ultras of the world, which are all very impressive doing other things that are helping the space grow for gaming. We are very metaverse focused. So we actually have a dedicated metaverse program at Game Credits. The company has a non-trivial amount of some of the best virtual real estate that you could have in Decentraland, Somnium Space, Sandbox, Crypto Voxels, Upland, and the IQ on our team for these metaverses is sky high. A lot of us have been involved with these companies and the founders since the beginning of these metaverses. We actually have headquarters built in Decentraland. We have a headquarters now built in Somnium Space. We'll be deploying one in the sandbox and working with Sebastian and his great team as they get ready for a full launch. And this is just part of what our plan is. We actually are going to be taking our game partners. So if you've signed up with us and you're a partner, one of the benefits that you get at Game Credits is that you get premier virtual real estate space to bring your business.
Oh, that is valuable shit right there, my friend.
We help you build, right? So we want to actually act as an ambassador for these metaverses, because if these metaverses don't have good content, they don't grow. It hurts the entire industry, because we know when the COVID-19
So instead of getting rid of your weakest link, you're strengthening your weakest links, welcoming them to strengthen them.
Yes, that's actually exactly what we talked about. That conversation what you just said there was a verbatim one of the comments that we had, maybe 8 months ago when we were looking at getting this program off the ground officially. So exactly, we want to take a weakness that's perceived and turn it into a strength. And I'm really happy to say that so far, it's really early, Ken, but so far, that's exactly what this is. We're building relationships up. We're actually able to bring in other companies that aren't even crypto savvy yet, and we can onboard them into a blockchain because of the metaverses. They weren't going to be holding Bitcoin and doing remittance. They weren't going to be doing a lot of different use cases that we can talk about, but the metaverses having a virtual place, because now they see commercial real estate across the world is dropping like a rock.
Right. I mean, they're going to want virtual real estate to do their virtual game. Esports will be done in Decentraland, and you'll probably need some digitables NFT in your wallet to get through the front door, because that's how the Free Ross asset works. I have one NFT of Free Ross, and because I have it, I could walk through a virtual doorway. If you don't have it, you get stuck at this invisible barrier, like in a video game. You can't enter. But if you have this asset in your wallet, you can. So like this common ground, it's almost like a WeWork, it sounds like, right? In a virtual environment for these brands to cross-pollinate and communicate with each other's communities, hosting virtual events and gamifying their assets, even to the point, if you're just an artist and you don't have any like in-game utility, you could still use utility for your NFT and just build up that, virtual art museum, with game credits in Sandbox, Decentraland, X, Y, and Z. And if I hold one of any of your NFT artwork, I can get access into your museum and look at all of your art in a virtual means. That is an easy utility for an artist to adapt to their asset. And it sounds like it's just exactly how it's going to be working with game credits.
Pretty much. So are we taking on more work? We are. Is there a cost to this? There is. But the benefit greatly outweighs both the cost in time and effort, because we end up forming relationships with these partners that we hope are for life. And because we're taking them from either just the non-metaverse crypto world, or we're taking them from outside of crypto and they get into crypto because of the metaverses, we strengthen our relationship with the metaverses, Ken, number one, but we also build partners that are going to be happy to onboard and use our other tools. We basically have ushered them in, and we've done all the heavy lifting, and we've spent years doing this, kind of building this construction, so that once the metaverses were ready to actually do massive onboarding, we were there to actually benefit and help them grow. So again, the concept of us working with people that you could say, well, wait a second, isn't that a competitor? Yeah, they may be a competitor to an extent, but if we also have common goals and we both can achieve the same goals at the same time, it makes sense to team up and unite on that. And we've actually proven that, despite what some people say, you can do that efficiently and effectively. So we're going to keep doing that.
Badass. I wanted to ask this before we get going. Is the when you mentioned the way for me to like stake a game and farm NFTs from artists, the first thing I thought about, and I wanted to save this to end, was, is there a way to, will there be baskets of these opportunities where like I won't have to choose one pool over another? Would it be an opportunity for people that could say, I want to take 10 pools and just have a basket of opportunities to get like maybe 10 of my favorite artists NFTs from a basket pool rather than 10 individual pools?
Okay, so now you're asking an interesting mechanics question. So can you do this right now? No. Will you be able to do it in the future? Very likely. So you and I are probably aware of the sharding aspect of NFTs. So if you take that concept and kind of tweak it to what you said, we're going to probably look at creating pools where there's a subset of different assets that most people want. And then instead of having to just pick a certain creator, we will likely have an option where you can put your game, lock it into one of these pools, and it gives you a cosmopolitan type of option of about, could be 5 to 50 different NFTs that all are in a certain range. it's almost like a fund. Almost like you could say you're staking against a fund.
Right, that's what I was getting, exactly. An individual artist fund that's for NFT artists. Because a lot of people in this space that, I mean, are getting into this space, a lot of them are asking me, which NFTs should I buy, this, that, and the other. And it's really hard to just say which one, but there's a few out there. I don't know if you know about the Nifty box with Joel and Travis, but I have one NFT I spent like $1,000 on. It's already doubled in value on the market secondary, but the amount of NFTs that I get on a regular basis from holding this one NFT, it's like that diverse basket of assets now, and it diversified my portfolio through one investment. These are the people I would send to credits and just say, look, stake it, get into this, fund, get a basket of things, instead of having to worry about individual stuff. And that's what a lot of people in traditional investment kind of want too, right? They kind of want to get in with an easier basket, when they first get in. And then once they can look at that basket and see which is doing better, they can kind of pick out of it which one they want to focus on more.
Yep, that makes sense. And I think we'll eventually give that option where if you know exactly what you want to do, you can go right to that person or that company. But if you're not sure and you're just sitting at listing all these different names and companies that don't mean anything to you, we're going to probably have dedicated pools that have a general interest level for where you can, if you stake there, you're going to get something that you like, and then you can branch out from there as you learn more, like you said.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome, man. I'm just thinking about the people, the little people that are just getting in that don't know much, and they're excited. They're going to FOMO and just play around, and I think that that's the best part about game credits to me is it's just a game. Like, how can you take it so serious, right? Like, you're looking at your Blockfolio and it says game credits and it's going up and down in value. You shouldn't have emotional attachment to game credits. Like, if V-Bucks, you know what I mean? Like, if you could get a skin with V-Bucks, it shouldn't have that same, real world effect that, like, the dollar has on people. So I think that it will take the emotional relationship away from the economic relationship that game credits will provide to money. Like, it will be like, more people are honestly, more people are frugal with their in-game currencies, right? Like, how scarce an in-game asset currency is, and you stack it because if you save enough of it, you'll be able to get some really good rare item in the game with that in-game currency. And I think game credits has that same mental, like, note it's going to hit when people start stacking it. They're going to realize, like, life is a video game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm role playing and I have game credits that I could go buy eggs, bread, and milk with or play video games with. Like, life is a video game. I think game credits is letting people know how much, like, reality is a game, and the game currency itself is going to, like, exploit the game that is the reality.
That's kind of what our goal is long term, but we want to do it in such a way that you don't even realize it's happening. And I think if we can do that, then that's a sign we've done a good job.
Right. Well, you have so far, man. Anything that you wanted to go over that we haven't had a chance to discuss, or any topics that you wanted to make sure we touched before I wrap things up?
The one thing I want to bring up, and this is for you guys listening, and Ken, I got to thank you for allowing me to be on here. With this situation with COVID-19 and the whole working from home, and this is why gaming is blowing up. This is why this podcast is really well timed, because this is a big reason why gaming is getting influx. But this is another important reason, Ken, to thank you, because when we don't have that connection that we could in person, these type of podcasts and these type of engagements where you can get that voice out there, especially in a laid back environment like you have, it's nice. It's really refreshing, to be honest. And I think for a lot of people that don't get to go to these meetups or those physical conferences that they used to, this is what replaces it. So I'm really happy that you're out there providing content every single day. I've met a lot of people, Ken, that have said, I got into crypto because of Ken Bosak. And that puts a smile on my face, because I know how much you care about this. This is you really, really care. And when you really care, it shows. And people like me will advocate for you because I can see that you care that much. So thank you, Ken, for that opportunity. If you're listening, guys, thank you for tuning in. This has been a lot of fun. Ken, I hope I can come back. And I just see really good things for the cryptocurrency space in 2021.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, man, I'd love to have you back on, bro. I mean, you got the link. If you want to schedule in advance once a month to come on the podcast, you are way more than welcome, bro. It is encouraged. I'd love to have you back on. Just to shoot the shit about, current events and gaming in the space. We covered as much as we could about game credits and everything at NFTs. It would be great to have a conversation with you out, without having to make sure we cover so much of specific stuff. But yeah, man, I'd love to have you on again. Guys, if you're watching, please don't forget, all you have to do is like and comment. Every single day somebody wins some crypto, thanks to the sponsor. So go ahead and request $10 in USDT from FIO at KENN. That's FIO at Ken. If you have your Edge wallet, go ahead and request $10 in USDT right now, and within 24 hours somebody will get the payout. As always, guys, thank you and have a day.
There are many different ways to buy Bitcoin, but the cheapest and fastest way to buy Bitcoin with cash is with a coin flip Bitcoin ATM. Coin flip ATMs allow anyone to buy Bitcoin with the lowest fees and within just a few steps. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm one of the hundreds of store owners who partner with CoinFlip. In this convenient store, we host a CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM. We earn passive income, more foot traffic, and we get free advertising done by the CoinFlip team. Getting the ATM was easy. We just contact the CoinFlip team at info@coinflip.tech, and they handle everything with no cost to the store owner. This includes installation, maintenance, marketing, and even 24/7 customer service. We just provide a small space within the store. To get your own CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM and join the monetary revolution, contact CoinFlip today. info@coinflip.tech, or fill out the form at request.coinflip.tech. 773-800-0106.